Welcome to the very first episode of the Lake House Report, The Voices of Weber Pond. I'm your host, Will Waldron, and this podcast exists for one simple reason to give a voice to the people and the people who live here on this pond and refuse to watch it decline without a fight. This isn't going to be political theater or armchair environmentalism, and it isn't about credit or ego. It's about one thing saving Weber Pond using real solutions grounded in science, common sense, and the lived experience of the residents who see this water every single day. Over the past week, a lot has happened, quietly, steadily, and in many ways constructively, after months, really years of frustration. Conversations are finally beginning with the Maine Department of Environmental Protection. A pre application process is underway, and our first formal meeting with DEP staff is scheduled for March 19th. That matters, not because it guarantees approval for anything, but because dialogue is the first step towards action. For too long, residents have felt unheard. Now, at least that door is going to be open. This is our first podcast and our very first episode of the Lake House Report, and it is only audio at this time. We are working on the infrastructure and setting up the camera systems and so forth so that we can bring you interviews with real people that you can watch in video format going forward. You know, the central issue that's driving this effort is the worsening water quality on Weber Pond. The historic SECI data, that's water transparency, shows a clear downward trend over the past 2 decades. Lower transparency means higher phosphorus levels, more algae and more cyanobacteria, and more, uh, in plain English, the pond is getting choked. Thick vegetation is spreading, dying off, and settling into the sediment and releasing nutrients back into the water year after year. It's a compounding cycle. The more growth, the more decay, the more phosphorus, the worse the blooms. Add in the waterfowl waste, overpopulated fish, shoreline runoff, and warmer climate conditions, and you have a nutrient engine that just keeps on accelerating. This is why so many residents are advocating for mechanical harvesting. It's not a silver bullet, but a practical tool. Harvesting physically removes plant biomass from the system, and that means phosphorus levels totally leave the pond instead of recycling back into it. Across the country, lakes and ponds have used harvesting as a method as part of an integrated management plan with measurable success. The problem is under current Maine rules, large-scale mechanical harvesting faces significant regulatory hurdles. That's the conversation that we're trying to change, and that's the conversation that's going to begin this month on the 19th. And we're not there to attack regulators, but we're there to present data, studies, and a plan that's rooted in environmental responsibility. At the same time, other efforts are happening too. Some members of the association and community are focusing on watershed management, education, and monitoring programs. Those efforts do matter. No single approach will fix decades of accumulation. The real opportunity lies in coordination, combining prevention upstream with the removal inside the pond itself. Doing one without the other is like mopping up the floor while the faucet's still running or turning off the tap in your tub while the tub is still filled with sludge. Funding is another major topic issue. Residents have asked, who's going to pay for all this restoration? The reality is that resources already exist. Revenue associated with the fish ladder installation was intended to support the pond. Local taxpayers pay premium property taxes specifically because of waterfront value. Grants, municipal allocations, and program funding are all possible, but only if concrete projects exist to fund. If no plan is presented, that money simply goes into the general fund and it goes elsewhere. And public engagement now has certainly surged over the past week. On Facebook, infographics, research links, and documentation have been compiled and made available so anyone can review the science themselves. This isn't about us asking you to trust us. It's about total transparency, showing you the data, the studies, the photos, the historical trends, and letting residents draw their own conclusions. An informed community is a powerful community. There's also been some tension, which is natural. When people deeply care deeply about a place, disagreements can happen, but disagreement doesn't have to mean division. Everyone ultimately wants a healthy pond. The danger isn't that people are working on different pieces of the puzzle. The danger is paralysis while the conditions continue to worsen. So here's where we stand today. Dialogue with regulators is beginning, research is being compiled, residents are mobilizing, and real options are being put on the table. That alone is progress. No guarantees, no grand promises, just forward moving motion. This podcast will continue to document that journey and will interview residents, scientists, officials, long term locals, newcomers, anglers, boaters, anyone whose life intersects with this body of water. Because Weber Pond doesn't belong to any one group, it belongs to all of us, and its future will be decided by what we do together or fail to do. If you live on the pond, if you grew up here, if you visit every summer or you simply care about its survival, we want to hear from you because your experience matters, your observations matter, your voice matters. This has been the Lake House Report, the Voices of Weber Pond. I'm your host, Will Waldron, and thank you for listening and reminding you that saving a lake doesn't start in Augusta or Washington or some distant office. It starts right here at the water's edge. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and take care of the pond that we all call home.